Supreme Verdicts, and no real way to beat an unblockable creature that's suited up. But the other side of the coin is there are a bunch of aggressive decks in the format, and those typically can take Bant Hexproof to task.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Tyler, Josh is one of those decks that might just be able to kill him before he can get off the ground.
So these players are what, like X1, you think? Or,
yeah, they're X1.
X1.
They each have one loss, no draws. Looks like Josh had the play, but no actual play on turn 1.
Tyler mulligan to 6 this game. Right. Rootbound Crag from Josh.
This is a slow starter.
Yeah, not looking super aggressive.
And no 1, no 2. Ugh.
All right, Tyler's going to get things started with an Invisible Stalker. Pretty good start for Tyler.
Yeah. Josh had to play a tapped Rootbound Crag because he didn't want to not have the ability to play a 3-drop on the 3rd turn because he had this cavern before. But he drew another untapped land, Kessig Wolfrun. And now he's going to go ahead and cast Silverblade Paladin, his cavern on Snuffleupagus, of course.
Probably.
Abundant Growth. Might see an Ethereal Armor shortly here. There's at least a Rancor.
Saw a Rancor in his hand, yeah.
He appears to be debating. He's going to go with another Stalker.
Doubling his clock here.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred the Rancor here. I'm not actually sure how it measures out. I think favorably, depending on what the rest of Tyler's hand is. More importantly, is it gives him some very live draws, like a Silverblade Paladin off the top, for example.
Does he have a 3rd Stalker in hand?
I think he has a 3rd Stalker and the Rancor plus lands, yeah. So I think I would have rather played the Rancor and then untapped into 2 Stalkers next turn. Nearheath Pilgrim paired with something already a big problem for Tyler.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter what it's paired with.
Champion came down first, by the way, but it does appear to have been paired. He kind of indicated the Paladin, so.
I assume that we're going to be gaining 4 life here, going to 23. Tyler's going to fall to 16.
Yeah, that's huge just because, I mean, it just represents another chunk of life that Tyler's going to have to, chunk of damage Tyler's going to have to do, and it's kind of an uphill battle if he can't get rid of it.
Yeah, in the main deck, Tyler has perilously few answers to a life-linking beater. This is one of the few ways he has to get through his own first striking blocker, which is not a great solution. The other options he has are Hands of Binding, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Simic Charm can break it up for a turn or 2, and Selesnya Charm can maybe be used effectively depending on what happens. But
so he plays a Rancor and a Silverblade Paladin and smashes in with the with one of the Stalkers.
Yeah, that's gonna deal 6, puts Josh in a 17, but it's really not that threatening.
Yeah, not when he's gaining upwards of 4 life a turn.
Yeah, and he has a Kessig Wolfrun here, so he can actually trample over for a little more if he wants, but if he has an actual solution, like a Searing Spear, then Tyler's going to be in big trouble.
Alright, well, looks like a Thalia. Champion gets a little bigger.
And, yeah, that's a Searing Spear for the Paladin.
Spear, yeah.
That's borderline enough to get Tyler to pack it in here. What happened here? They've undone the Searing Spear somehow? Oh, Thalia. He played the Thalia first.
Yeah, that was...
Wow, this is awkward.
Yeah, good call.
We should have led with the Searing Spear for sure. It's a tough misstep that we've made.
It still might not... He might not be punished for it too much, given his particular situation, but...
Yeah, I think the problem now is that we don't want to swing in with our Silverblade Paladin, but we may just have to. Honestly, I don't think Josh is going to lose if he does that. I think if he does, he should swing with everything. He'll be trading off Nearheath Pilgrim for Stalker and Silverblade for Silverblade, but those trades are fine. He gets 4 life out of the deal, and he also gets in for 3 damage, which will put Tyler to 13, him to 21, and he still has a more dominant clock. He's just going to send the Pope.
Just the Pilgrim coming over.
I'm sorry, the Pilgrim wouldn't be able to trade with the Stalker. I misremembered which one is paired with which. So.
Oh yeah, the Pilgrims bonded with the Paladin.
Tyler, interestingly, takes this damage. I think I would probably have blocked. The lifelink is what actually makes the Silverblade Paladin the most dangerous.
Yeah, so Tyler takes it, untaps. Excuse me.
I think I probably would have traded my Silverblade Paladin off for that Pilgrim. I'm not sure, though. The problem is he knows now that Searing Spear is there that he's just going to take a million next turn. Like, not even close.
Yeah, Tyler has a soul read on the Searing Spear in Josh's hand. I wonder why. So there's the third Stalker from Tyler, and that's a couple of blockers for Tyler, and playing around the Searing Spear a little bit. We're just playing with it in mind, as he should very well be doing.
Did Tyler have any untapped lands? Because it's possible Josh is fearing something like Simic Charm or Selesnya Charm here. He's only got 2, so yeah, he doesn't have to fear those things thanks to Thalia. Yeah, now we're going to go ahead and get that guy out of there.
Yeah, there's that Searing Spear. FNM Searing Spear. Didn't recognize it at first.
And now Josh is going to bludgeon Tyler about the face with his army of gigantic creatures.
And here comes, well, everybody.
Yeah, that's 13 damage, so Tyler has to block. And he's just going to scoop instead, which seems correct.
That was a rough one for Tyler, even given the the boo-boo that Josh made there with the Searing Spear post-Thalia. That was just a lot that Tyler really couldn't handle, and that's kind of the Bant Hexproof kind of doesn't want to care about what its opponent is doing. It says, okay, you need to care about what I'm doing, but in this particular case, if they're both going to be that way, Naya's actually got some answers for Hexproof, where Bant Hexproof does not actually have answers.
The second that Bant Hexproof is forced to block is just a bad second.
Yeah.
It's not where it wants to be. That second came on turn 3 for Tyler Moore.
Yeah, very quickly.
Real quick. I think that I would generally favor the Naya Humans deck in the matchup, whereas Bant Hexproof is all about using auras to buff some relatively unimpressive creatures. The Naya Humans deck actually has its humans for auras. They boost Champion of the Parish. Mayor of Aberbrook is a literal aura. It has its own Silverblade Paladins. Frontline Medic is in many ways an aura. So it's deploying threats and buffs at the same time, whereas the Bant Hexproof kind of has to alternate that turn after turn.
Yeah. Looking at the boards, there's a Ray of Revelation in there that Josh could use, but it's not really that impressive against something, against the rankers. But
it can matter.
Other auras can.
And you'd actually be surprised about something like Ranker, like in that Silverblade Paladin situation, where Ray of Revelation is just saves 8 damage, just like if it's a Rest for the Weary with landfall. That's not the worst.
Good point.
Certainly not. That's not ideal, but it's still 8 life is 8 life. Beyond that, what else do you see? I mean, like maybe Oblivion Ring. That's kind of mediocre.
Just like maybe Oblivion Ring, maybe even Fiend Hunter, but.
I don't think I would go for Fiend Hunter, although it's a reasonable consideration, mostly because of the impact that Silverblade Paladin can have.
Yeah.
He only has 3 Searing Spears to actually answer a Silverblade Paladin, so I could consider bringing in the Fiend Hunter as sort of a 4th spear. Oblivion Ring can fill a similar role, but it also has the upside of being able to take an Ethereal Armor or something off the table, so it's possible Oblivion Ring might be the call over the Fiend Hunter for that purpose.
Yeah, I mean...
Not much, though, for sure.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a whole lot that Josh has. And his deck kind of did what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Tyler, trying to switch things up here.
He'll probably be bringing in the Smiters and Nearheath Pilgrims, I think. He just needs some big guys that'll slow Josh down and can also swing the race in his favor. Maybe Sigarda to let him take to the air. I don't know. I think he has to shift his deck a lot to do something like that. But it could be that he's behind in such a way he just sort of has to reverse course and become that pseudo control-ish deck.
Just kind of just like almost like a big Bant.
Yeah.
Rather than a Bant Hexproof.
An interesting card he has access to is Stolen Identity.
Yeah, that's one I haven't seen in really any lists that weren't limited.
I'm not sure if he has the time to deploy it in this matchup, but if he could, it would definitely be a pretty big game. Just creating 2 creatures, a Broodmate Dragon of your choice, basically, is a pretty big deal. And he can do it on turn 5 thanks to stuff like Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Yeah, it seems really like it could be ridiculous with Invisible Stalker. I mean, I guess every Cypher card could be ridiculous with something like Invisible Stalker, but yeah, it seems like it would be fun to see. I would like to see it. I just don't know that it's something he's going to do here.
I'm not sure I would change. It's possible that on the play, Tyler should just leave his deck mostly as is and hope to lean on his ability to have some strong aggressive draws. And then in post board for game 3, once he's on the draw, maybe shift gears there because it's going to be much harder for him to go aggro then. Whereas Josh probably just doesn't want to make very many changes. I would consider cutting like the frontline medics because my opponent's never blocking anyway.
Sure.
So that's about all that I would think to do.
So I believe Josh is up a game, Jesse, not Tyler. You have Josh as being up. You have Tyler as being up a game. There you go.
There we go.
Just wanted to make sure everybody knew the actual state of the match.
Looks like Tyler is going to mulligan, and I think I saw a Loxton Smiter in his first 7, so it looks like he did bring those in.
Yeah, they're cheap and they're much bigger than some of his other guys just to start.
Slow starts for both, no 1-drop. And Stalker,
yeah.
Okay. Looks like Josh, he has a land that won't cost him life, and he has a Nearheath Pilgrim, which is a perfectly fine man to play here. It puts Tyler in the awkward position of racing a lifelinker on turn 2. I think he should just play that Crag and the Nearheath Pilgrim. I don't really know what he did this for.
There's a Sacred Foundry into play tapped, and
that seems really unnecessarily conservative. I think that like we have a Rootbound Crag, we can just play it. We didn't need to play the Sacred Foundry this turn. I'm not sure what he's so concerned about. Like now he has to waste next turn playing Ray of Revelation because that's a lot of damage.
So a Spectral Flight on the Stalker. Gonna smash in.
Yeah. I mean, he'll play his other Shockland tap now, so I imagine Stomping Ground, and then Ray of Revelation that thing. But see, we basically just lost all of turn 2.
Yeah, just to play a Sacred Foundry. It doesn't seem...
Yeah, I don't agree with this trade at all. I would even like take a shock to play the Nearheath Pilgrim. He'll buy you the shock back on the next turn.
Right.
Like when you play a guy in attack.
Yeah, it looks like Josh is trying to figure out what he wants to do here.
It's possible that I think he has a Mayor and a Huntmaster in his hand. Those are the 2 flip cards, which can be difficult to ID.
Yeah, from here it's certainly.
I'll be real surprised if he goes for a. Really, he's going to play a
Mayor? I guess. Or now he goes with the Pilgrim.
See, now this just seems kind of silly. We could just have had this guy in play.
And did he miss a land drop?
He forgot to play his land.
Yeah.
I think the lights might be getting to Josh a little at this point. It's definitely his turn 3, and he has 2 lands in his hand. And now he's in big trouble.
Second Spectral Flight and a Pilgrim of his own on Tyler's side of the board, and here comes more damage from the Invisible Stalker.
Okay, Josh is going to go to 12. Tyler's going to go to 25, and Josh will be able to untap, play the land that he missed, and double Ray of Revelation to reduce this clock, but
yeah,
it's still sizable. And
draws an Oblivion Ring.
He did bring that in. Missing that land drop is going to definitely cost us in that game when we're sitting on stuff like Huntmaster of the Fells and Restoration Angel.
Yeah, that's these decks are kind of both geared to make use of the early turns. It's not meant to go late, so that land drop it's a huge percentage of the game. Yep. Like just missing a land drop there when you didn't have to miss it, when you actually had the land. So, well, he plays Rootbound Crag and passes back. Looks like he shifted the Ray of Revelation right to the front there.
Yeah, I actually don't really like the pass back. He doesn't know it, but there are counterspells in the format that could get him. Spell Rupture is one of them, and Tyler's actually got that in his sideboard. I doubt he brought it in, but yeah, you already know what you're going to do here. Like, you're definitely raying, and there's not a lot of downside to just casting them.
Right, it's not as if this is some sort of combat trick where you get them, right? Like,
yeah, it's an Invisible Stalker. It's just going to come over regardless of what you do.
So Ray of Revelation, front side and back side, deals with both Spectral Flights. And Josh only takes 1 in the exchange.
Josh might be able to come back here if Tyler's just out of good spells. That 1 a turn, it's obviously kind of a big deal. It's basically he's getting extorted over the course of the game, but he has, a fair bit of life gain in his hand between Huntmaster and Restoration Angel.
Yeah, he's got Huntmaster, Restoration Angel, probably Mayor. We saw him almost cast it, so I'm pretty sure that was a Mayor of Averbuck.
Yeah, I think he may be overvaluing Mayor in this matchup. The Bant deck is, land light and spell heavy, so it's not going to be easy to flip it unless you yourself pass turn, and why would you do that?
Champion of the Parish?
I think I would probably be pairing with Champion if I was going to pair, rather than the Mayor that's about to follow, but it appears he may have other plans.
Champion resolves, and I mean, the only spell he could... No,
yeah, he's saying these are paired. Good call. He's going to play the Mayor here. That'll boost the Champion up to a 3-3, make the Nearheath a 3-2. But he's not going to attack because he doesn't want to trade Nearheath Pilgrim for Nearheath Pilgrim. It's possibly missed his counter here on the Champion.
Yeah, I was
I'm
thinking
not
the same
sure.
thing.
I thought he was going for dice, but it turns out he was going for...
the Mayor and the top loader.
Yeah.
Tyler untaps his Invisible Stalker, and he's going to try to punish Josh for missing some triggers and some land drops.
Yeah. Hey, only one of each. I mean, let's not attribute more than we've.
Yes, only one of each.
One land drop and one counter.
But can Tyler even do it? I think he's got a Paladin in hand.
Paladin's a start. He has 2 Paladins, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I was wrong. He has 2.
I would think I might pair with Pilgrim. Or no, you can't pair with anything because they're already paired. That's a little stingy. Forgot about that one. Well,
yeah,
this
the whole
is pretty awkward.
Thing. You can only have one best friend.
Yeah.
Unless one of them goes away, then you can be best friends again.
It's funny. I would actually be interested in kind of getting this Invisible Stalker off the board so I can pair my next Paladin with Nearheath Pilgrim. It looks like Tyler's thinking along similar lines, but he's going to go ahead and get rid of the Pilgrim
instead, yeah.
Yeah, which also is fair. He really just needs to get Josh dead. But he changed his mind. I think that swing is fine. You're going to trade, but you don't mind trading with any of the 3 creatures that are on the board.
Yeah.
They're all totally fine to trade with.
Just Stalker. He seems to be doing some thinking here. I don't know if he's finished declaring his attack.
He's not. The issue here is that if this is the attack he was going to make, he obviously just should have not pre-combated Silverblade Paladin.
Yeah.
Because post-combat, he could pair it with a creature that's already on the board.
At this point, 2 guys that are just sitting there
so
can't pair just because they're sitting there either.
That said, if his plan is to pair Silverblade with Silverblade next turn, it makes this line a little more reasonable. Josh takes the damage. That's interesting. I'd probably have tossed my Champion under that Pilgrim. I don't know. Seems reasonable. Maybe not.
Yeah, Josh, I think just wants to... He kind of just wants some sort of board presence, I think.
It's strange to me because Josh is really overvaluing the 2 life, the shock land cost in this game. He's played a land tapped twice when he really could have just played it untapped. But not valuing the damage he's taking from the creatures at the same time.
Well, it all evens out in the end, then. I mean,
except that one of them lets him play his spells, and the other one just kills him. Like if he takes 2 damage and keeps a creature from attacking in the process, that's a pretty great trade.
Well, he's going to get in there. Champion and Pilgrim.
Yeah. Note he's attacking before he does anything else because he has access to Selesnya Charm. But honestly, there's no chance Tyler blocks here anyway, so I would have just played Huntmaster of the Fells first, just to go ahead and get an extra counter on the Champion. It is basically impossible that Silverblade Paladin would block. I suppose Selesnya Charm is perhaps a concern, but I think that you're fine in that situation anyway. The Huntmaster will give you enough of a body on the ground. And he thinks similarly. He's going to play that Huntmaster, and with Restoration Angels and the Wings, might be able to take control of this game, gaining 2 life a turn from here on out. Even more importantly, obviously, the Restoration Angel will enable a Mayor of Averbuck flip.
Yeah.
In the upcoming future, if that's something he's interested in.
And he manages to actually get the counter on the Champion this time.
Tyler is clearly considering his Silverblade Paladin. That's the only spell we think he even has, so it's probably his play.
He's only got 1 card in hand. I think it's Paladin.
think he's going for it here. Those two are related.
Yeah, the Soulbond creature is very monogamous.
Looks like he did draw another spell. I'm not sure what it is, though. An Avacyn's Pilgrim?
Definitely a Paladin, though.
His other card is definitely a Paladin. I think he might have drawn a Pilgrim, which is not really a great draw, but he should definitely go ahead and wait until post-combat to play it, if he's going to, because it might be able to pair with something relevant at that stage.
Tyler thinking about his options. Had Josh down pretty low, but
yeah,
just that swing and that Huntmaster.
Things are definitely looking down for Tyler at this point.
All right, there's the Paladin, and I believe he just paired Paladin on Paladin, which is the only
legal
way to do it. Yeah. And it looks like Paladin and Invisible Stalker are about to swing on their own.
This turn we can't swing with Near Heath Pilgrim because Huntmaster's a 3/3, so that's just not going to work out.
Yeah, so Wolf gets in front of Paladin.
Yeah, just
Stalker's just going to
everyday chump block. I like that chump block. The Wolf can't attack into the paired Silverblade Paladin, so there's really no point in keeping it around.
And that was a Pilgrim, as you suggested. No pairs there.
So this is going to be a great turn for Josh. He's just going to untap, pass, and flip Huntmaster to kill a creature. I find it really unlikely the top of his deck could possibly deliver a better line than that. Let's see what we found.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see it.
Looks like a white spell of some kind.
That's what I thought. But yeah, it's definitely a white spell. It's not Oblivion Ring. It could be Champion.
Could be. I think it is Champion. But yeah, I stick with my line. Just pass turn, flip Huntmaster, kill a Silverblade Paladin.
He's got O-Ring, Selesnya Charm, Thalia, and what I believe is Champion, and I believe one more card.
No, stop playing spells. Stop it. He can go ahead and play. He can play Champion and then O-Ring the untapped Silverblade Paladin. That line is okay, but I think that the Restoration Angel line is just much more exciting.
Oh, Restoration Angel was the other card.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. All right, so he plays Champion, levels the other Champion. I assume O-Ring the bonded Paladins here.
And he'll get one of them. I assume the untapped one to actually let him attack, which seems fine. Yep. And now he just sends the team.
You know, it's funny, I keep thinking of O-Ring as Detention Sphere now. Just like, it gets both Paladins, right? Crap.
Yep. He can gain 7 life. There's nothing really Tyler can do about it. So I would send the team. It looks like he's considering a more conservative attack.
Yeah, just Champion, I think.
I would probably... No, I would send the team. Yeah, there's no bad block. There's no way for Tyler to kill the Mayor and the Huntmaster in the same turn. I think you could keep the Mayor back if you really wanted, but I would probably just ship it.
Yeah, he just went with the Champion and then connected.
Really conservative attacks from Josh here. Unfortunately for Tyler, I don't think he has many ways to actually punish them. He needs like a Spectral Flight or something to go to the skies. And as we saw, he's already played 2 of his 4, so...
Yeah, he is living off the top of his deck. We've got a Near Heath Pilgrim, which he does not bond with anything. He could have bonded it with...
He could bond it with the Silverblade Paladin. I'm not so sure he hasn't, to be honest. We'll have to wait for confirmation on whether that bonded.
I didn't see any
Yeah, I didn't see anything either. He did kind of like plop it next to it. It's very easy for him to have said like bond with Pilgrim or something like that.
Sure. It did bond. Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna come in for a little extort here, but Josh is taking control despite those early stumbles. He can now take that ping. It's not really a problem. Right now, I think we'll switch modes. Kessy Wolf Run. Yeah, excellent card. This makes it really difficult for Tyler to block us. We can make some more aggressive attacks than we might otherwise.
It also keeps him potentially from casting a spell. That way he can make use of his mana and flip Huntmaster.
I still think Angel's the best route, but we can also now just throw in a value attack with Champion of the Parish.
Alright, he's gonna just swing with the Champion.
Just my little friend here. 4 damage.
It's like Pilgrim's gonna jump in the front of that train.
It's not doing anything else, so.
No. So it looks like Kessick Wolf Run activation here for...
Interestingly, wow, I really dislike that.
So he just gave it trample.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He has a Selesnya Charm. I guess he's just keeping that untapped. And he's going to flip his Huntmaster now, which is fine. Tyler pausing in the upkeep. He's saying, whoa, I got these triggers.
Yeah, Ravager the Fells.
Kill that one relevant card on your board.
Yeah, kill the Paladin, and the Mayor, of course, also flips.
The interesting thing about a block with that Pilgrim there is I think it kind of tells Josh that he doesn't have to worry about increasing Savagery, which is otherwise a card that these Bant Hexproof decks used to run. And, you know, getting to 7 mana, pretty big deal if you've got increasing Savagery in your deck, but if you don't, obviously completely irrelevant. So, worth keeping in mind that a savvy player would pick up on that ability.
Very good point. And you are clearly a savvy player.
Oh, whoa. Let's not talk out of school here.
Hey, you picked up on it.
Of course, there's also every possibility that your opponent just doesn't really think about that and then draws an increasing savagery.
Right, after having reaching 7 mana.
I would generally assume that that's the case, though. Tyler has to know that there's, you know, a Spear or Selesnya Charm in Josh's hand at this point after that last attack, so things are going to be a little interesting.
All right, so there's a Thalia. It's going to level both humans, and hopefully...
I think we swing with everybody this turn, and we actually are going to go ahead and cast our Restoration Angel on our turn in order to flip back Huntmaster and Mayor. Not the Ravager too. He's got no cards. Come on, man. Bring the heat. They didn't give him 4 power to block.
How do you know? Look at him. He looks like he's blocking.
Okay, well, they definitely didn't give him trample to block.
He's just...
That's for sure.
Okay, that's fair.
That man lives in the red zone.
He's just apparently asleep in the red zone at the moment.
Yeah, an attack there would put us definitely in range of just beating Tyler to death on the next turn. 15 damage, pretty easy to deal, but as is. Looks like he appears to have passed turn, and like I said, I would have gone ahead and played the Restoration Angel to go ahead and get a flip. It forces Tyler to draw a spell, otherwise you get to flip back.
Yeah,
he didn't draw a spell, he's just going to consume.
Tyler scoops anyway. So, yeah, Naya Humans takes down Bant Hexproof here in round 9 of 11 of the StarCityGames.com Indianapolis Open. Yeah, that match sort of went pretty much as we expected, except for a few little...
I think honestly, the missteps really just demonstrated the edge that Naya has, which is it can be like when you let a deck like Naya Humans be mindlessly aggressive. It's like a lot more aggressive than most of the decks in the format. When it actually has to, you know, respect some defense and block a little or whatever, it's not as impressive because it is a pretty good offensive deck.
Right.
But when the opponent's just like, nah, man, whatever you got, come on,
I can't
I'm
do
ready.
That, right?
They're not ready.
Pretty crazy. So I guess we're looking for a backup match temporarily.
We'll be checking on that.
Anything
right now.
surprise you this weekend?
Not really, you know. I think we've had some interesting matches on the camera. I know we had Desecration Demon earlier. That was kind of cool. I think the more interesting card in that deck was Psychic Strike, actually, which is a card that, you know, is definitely